Yo, welcome to the Loading Time podcast. This is the podcast where we talk everything nerd culture, comic books, video games, movies, all of that. Use the hashtag Loading Time Pod and find us on Twitter and YouTube at Loading Time Podcast. I am Demi, and I am joined by Elijah.
Yo.
And I'm joined by Tega with the do-rag.
It's not a do-rag.
Show me, it's not. It's a bandana, isn't it? Alright. Anyway, guys. Hope you're doing good, and we have another exciting episode for you because we're going to talk about some news that's come out. So if we're going to get straight into it, the first one we're going to talk about today is DC has unveiled a 10-year movie plan. So I'm just going to read the I'm laughing because it's just
nonsense.
Hilarious. It's hilarious. So according to Screen Rants, they have a article. What is DC's 10-year movie plan? And they go on to say the future of the DCEU is once again in limbo, with David Zaslav, president and CEO of Warner Bros. Discovery, promising the studio is pivoting to a 10-year plan, but what that entails is unclear. Envisioned as a rival to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the DCEU has struggled since its inception. It's been subject to numerous course corrections, and conflict between directors, and the studio has damaged many films in the eyes of critics and viewers. The DCEU appears to be undergoing another reboot, and it's already off to a controversial start after the abrupt and disappointing cancellation of Batgirl, according to Variety. The film was neither big enough to feel worthy of a major theatrical release, nor small enough to make economic sense in an increasingly cutthroat streaming landscape. In the aftermath of the announcement, Warner Bros. Discovery president David Zaslav used an earnings call to explain the studio's new strategy. He promised that DC would begin to take notes from Marvel Studios, with a 10-year plan coming into play.
Wow. Imagine doing that's crazy, saying we're just we're looking at our big boys, our big rivals, big brother, to see what we're doing.
Copy and paste.
No, but they have to do that. That's what.
But I hear that, but why would you admit that though?
Yeah, but they're talking to their investors. They have to, otherwise investors are gonna walk out. They see the success of Marvel stuff. You have to quote your rivals and say, yeah, well, that's what all these big companies
Imagine
do.
if like Microsoft was saying, yeah,
they do that.
But they don't
Microsoft
say
and
it,
Sony. I think Sony.
Did they openly say it? Like, yeah, by the way.
But they say it because the thing is, they say it to their investors, and then it comes out like these things happen all the time. But they're not exactly talking to the people of the public. But because some of us might have an interest in those fields, we might be privy to what they're actually saying. So like recently, Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, I think, had their earnings calls for the last fiscal year, and it turns out that a lot of people aren't buying games anymore. And they're not buying games as much as they were previously because of COVID. And when we had COVID, everyone was inside, so more people were buying games, blah, blah, blah. But now that COVID's it's still around, but people are out now. Games have made a drop. Sony have come out and said something recently against the Activision deal, saying how, Call of Duty they don't want it to... Paraphrasing this as if they don't want that deal to go forward because a lot of people might actually decide what console they're going to buy based on who owns Call of Duty. And they came out and said that and it was public. So, is what it is. You only find out if you're casual, you won't really know because you're not really tuned into that particular thing. It makes sense that they would say this. They have to let their investors know that, look, we have a plan. Otherwise, they're going to take their money and leave. And then that means there's less money for their business to work.
Fair enough, if you say that.
I mean, it does sound wild, but it just...
I just don't know where this...
But you have to think about it. If you have stock in this company, you have a lot of stock in the company. You want to know what their plan is. And you want to know that they're aiming for a successful model. And the only successful model we have for a continuity is Marvel in what they're doing.
Yeah,
in
Marvel
MCU.
is the only one that succeeded.
Yeah, that's the only, they're the only ones that are succeeding.
Apart from Fast and Furious.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
Yeah,
as far as comic books and blah blah and those type of IPs, Marvel are like head and shoulders above everyone else.
Yeah, there's no one that even comes close.
So that's why they have to name drop Marvel and say,
Yeah.
we're taking
Makes sense.
notes from them.
Makes
And
sense.
as an investor, you'll be like, okay, cool. If they're gonna go down that route, and we've seen how successful it's been for Marvel, even though Marvel have had some duds in their stuff, but overall, people look at the MCU and say, well, that's a very good connected universe. So
Yeah.
it just sounds, again, it's the optics. It sounds bad because you're like essentially admitting defeat, but at the same time, you know, you have to admit that you've made a lot of mess ups, like Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad, the countless Batmans that they've had. The Joker, I don't know what's going. Like they're gonna have a sequel to the Joker, and that's when they're gonna introduce Harley Quinn or someone like that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but I'm just like,
It's very
that first
messy.
Joker
Yeah.
film, like you said, was not really a Joker film. It was just a crazy guy, and they just slapped Joker on the title. That's really it.
And a lot of people are gonna come for us for saying that, but that's the truth.
Yeah, I mean, you can't.
I like Joker in it, but
I liked it as well.
I
think it was a good film.
I
It was a good
understand
film, yeah.
your.
Yeah, but I can't look at that Joker and be like, this one is gonna. He's the type of person that can destroy a whole city block or blah blah. Like he's not a genius. This new Joker is
He's
just
not a genius.
He's just a psycho. Not to say that Joker in the comic books is a genius, but he's a bit more like he's evil.
He's a bit more of a threat because he's like you don't know what he's like. He actually has a crazy. He has a plan, but it's a crazy.
Yeah, this guy just seems more like an anarchist more than
plan.
anything.
Yeah,
he doesn't like the way the status.
It could have been any character. Could have been anyone.
Yeah, it didn't have to be a DC film.
Joker.
That's what I'm saying. It could have just been a story about a guy who has mental health issues. But generally, when people who have mental health issues don't go and do what he did,
Yeah.
That's more of a. Yeah, that's another topic.
That's another topic. Yeah, it's kind of intertwined, but yeah, no, I see what you mean.
And then now look at they've introduced the Batman now. I don't know what that film.
It's all
then they've got that
completely.
Yeah, and now they've got, and it seems like they still want to hold Ben Affleck as the main.
Exactly.
They still want to hold it like keep him as
Batman.
He doesn't want to do it though, does he?
I don't think he does.
So.
He still does.
I think so.
He wants to be a director. I think he just wanted to.
He just wanted to be a director.
Yeah.
But then there's that, and then what's happening with Henry Cavill and Superman as well.
He's coming back as Superman, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's what people were hoping.
Man of Steel 2.
People were hoping that they'll unveil like another Man of Steel at Comic-Con, but it never happened.
So then they have that, and then they have in their TV series. There's already a Superman in their TV series as well. Then there's already a Flash as well. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen with the movie. Like the TV series and the movie ones are seen.
That's a mess, boy.
Everything is
disconnected as well.
But it's kind of. In a way, like I feel like them being disconnected, it was actually a big opportunity for them because like it sets that it's kind of the original plan was just gonna be like we're just gonna make films and not try and make everything connected. But the fact is that they could have actually led up to a Crisis on Infinite Earth to kind of reset everything, kind of thing. I felt like the reason why people keep failing, all the studios keep failing. And making a connected universe is because they're trying to make a connected universe. Whereas Marvel, I'm sure they had a plan, but it wasn't a thing of like, where we didn't really know what this big plan of theirs was until it happened. So a lot of the stuff that they were actually just testing a lot of stuff to see people's reactions, and then they'll make decisions based on that. But like people are based, it's not as when you say, we're going to create a connected universe, it just ruins the experience of saying they're actually connected. You see what I mean? Like the thing about the Marvel films was just like he mentioned this from another film, carry on. But these ones are just like you see Batman at the beginning of Suicide Squad chasing Joker, and then you see him at the post credits, and it's just a bit like it's so on the nose.
No, but I think we're saying that's because we know it's a Marvel ripoff, not because it's necessarily.
But they were the DC films were a bit like. For a time, they were a lot. They were supposed to be a lot darker, which kind of set them apart as well from the Marvel films. But they chickened out and tried to be like Marvel. I tried to make them a lot more lighthearted.
I thought they kind of seemed a bit stuck between a rock and a hard place. Because for me, I enjoyed the DC films because they were dark.
Yeah.
Like people really hate Batman versus Superman. I actually didn't. I actually liked that film.
Yeah, I didn't like that film, man.
I liked that one. But a lot of people's complaint for that film was that it was too dark.
It was too dark because you couldn't see what was going on.
I mean, it was
It was
literally
literally.
I was like, I don't know what the hell is going on.
It was literally
so
dark, but people were saying that, oh no,
thematically,
it was just and then because people kept on, obviously you can't help it, but you're comparing it to Marvel films where Marvel films
they've already established a lot.
They are established, but another thing, like this is the one thing with Marvel is that they're now going the complete other way where it's becoming a bit too lighthearted.
Yeah.
And it just seems that there's no consequence for anything. Whereas, and they need to kind of tone that down a bit, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But with DC, like but Man of Steel, I enjoyed. Though there was a lot of stupid things that happened
stuff in it, but I enjoyed it.
Thought it was a very good film, probably one of the best DC films that I've ever watched. Anyway. I thought that was a good film. If they kept that same tone for other stuff, I think they would have been successful. But people, you just have to realize that it's Marvel. Marvel's gonna be essentially for everyone because they've made it for young children. It can be for children up until, well, I guess they swear in it now, don't they? So can't necessarily be for children, but it's more like PG.
Bro, when I saw Thanos' head roll on the floor, I was like, ooh, maybe this isn't entirely for children.
But it's not entirely for... But when I saw that, I think I saw that film and there was children in the cinema when I watched it. So...
Yeah, because you're allowed to
watch it with
supervision. Okay.
Yeah.
But it was but that's one of their things that it's kind of for everyone, where DC stuff is so dark. It's more so a mature audience that are going to go and watch it. So... You just have to realize that you're not going to make as much money as Marvel because their stuff is appealing to everyone, whereas yours is appealing to a certain type of audience, and you have to be okay with that. But obviously, they weren't okay with that. They followed the investors; they wanted the money, and then they brought Chris Wheaton.
Do you think this is going to work, man? This 10-year plan of theirs
depends on what they do.
We don't know what the plan is.
They need to clean up everything.
That's probably what they're going to do.
But the thing is that the franchise, the movie that could have cleaned everything up,
Flashpoint.
The actor is a fugitive, so
I think it's gonna either they recast it, which is gonna be a hell shitload of money that they're throwing down the drain because they practically finished that, haven't they?
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
They finished Flashpoint.
I mean, if they finished it, then they should just release it.
No. It's a bit.
That's legally. That's crazy.
It's a bit sticky releasing that one.
But why?
Why?
Just don't give him the. Oh, they'd have to.
What? How are you gonna do
just
it?
like flipping. What's his name?
What?
What's that actor that's got done for like sexual assault?
Who
really know that actor? He played
Kevin
like
Spacey.
Like the Kevin Spacey. That was so bad, and they tried to use that as his moment to come out of the closet. That was really bad.
I mean that was crazy. Bro.
It was just like this is not the moment to tell everyone that you're gay. This is the moment.
That was so bad.
You don't
I don't know what was
his.
What was
so they had to recast. They had to recast him, and they redid all the.
Well, House of Cards.
Not House of Cards. There's another film that he was in. And then they brought in another actor to take his place, and they had to reshoot everything, and the film still did well.
Then they might have to do that because. But no one really cares for Ezra Miller as a person because he was only in one film he was only in Justice League, right?
Yeah.
And that Justice League has kind of been like if you watched that Justice League doesn't really mean anything anymore because it doesn't mean anything because canonically it's supposed to be the Chris Wheaton version, which was the horrible. Just Whedon. Sorry, yeah. That's canon wise, that's what it should be, but it was horrible. So
they're just pretending it did happen.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. But I think they're saying that the Snyderverse is the canonical one now because people enjoyed it more.
Who cares? They're not going to do what they're going to do anyway.
Exactly, and the annoying thing is that all the other directors who directed the other films around it all did it based on the Zack Snyder's Snyderverse.
Yeah.
So that's how the things were supposed to fit, but now that this mad thing happened and we don't have the Snyderverse thing anymore, all the other films just don't make any sense.
Yeah.
Just, even now, look at what's happened with Aquaman and Amber Heard now. That's gonna be another.
That's the key.
Just recast everyone.
But they're still gonna do Shazam.
Yeah.
But I want to know how. And they're doing Black Adam.
I don't know how that one is.
The Rock just looks he just looks too big for the role.
He actually looks like a soup. He feels like a Street Fighter character.
But he just looks so stiff.
Like Street Fighter 4. Like we have these really buff guys. And that's kind of how he looks like.
He just looks too stiff to be a superhero character. He's just too big. If it was like Rock of like,
it's funny I would say it's too big, like for superheroes. Do you ever say Chris Hemsworth is too big to be Thor? But he's jacked.
He's jacked, but he's like, I don't know how to put it, but he looks more athletic than The Rock. The Rock just looks. He's just.
And the irony of it is like The Rock is a professional wrestler. He's the most athletic guy.
If it was The Rock when he was in his wrestling days, he's not as like.
Yeah, I know what you mean. He looks
more like just more like a person, like a flexible person.
Yeah.
This one, he just looks. Maybe it's the suit. I don't know. Maybe it's
like when you see. Yeah, I know what you mean because I remember when The Rock when it was wrestling. And then when he came back like 10, 15 years later to fight John Cena, and you seen him big guy with his small pants. I was like, it was so weird to see, but I know what you mean. He just looks quite.
It's but even that, I don't know how that's gonna turn out. I hope it's good.
Yeah, I hope so.
I hope so.
I'm not holding out.
But it's the weirdest things that he plays Black Adam, but he also plays Crypto.
The dog in the animates in that film. I need to watch it.
The League of Super Pets.
Yeah.
Do you know he posted the post credits like on his Instagram? I was just like, what is this guy? The movie came out like last week. Why is he posting the post credits now? But no one really cares because it's Super Pets.
I'm thinking when's it gonna go to?
Well, that's DreamWorks, isn't it? I think it is.
Is it DreamWorks?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
When's it gonna go to a streaming service?
To know.
Probably next month or two.
Boy,
that's the one thing that I like now. Yeah, like Thor's gonna come out very fast. Doctor Strange just came out recently, and Lightyear just came out on Disney Plus as well.
There's really not much of an incentive to wait, like to watch movies. We can wait literally now 2 months.
Yeah, but
back in the day, remember how long it took for
it was
things to get onto Blu-ray,
like 6 months,
and then at least even 6 months, maybe 8, 9, depending on the film.
But now, I mean, I prefer it now, and the thing is, I don't know if they're taking a hit, like financially, because of that anymore. Because people will still go and watch.
Probably not. I think they noticed through COVID. When people were just willing to stream anything.
But people are willing to stream, but people are still going to the cinema, like...
Yeah, they'll still go because you don't want to wait 2 months.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I think that's it. Like, especially with us now, we need to review stuff, or we need to talk about stuff. We can't wait kind of 2 months to say, we'll just stream it and see. We'll see it instantly. Because everybody wants to see it first and everybody wants to talk about it first and stuff, so... it works in that sense, but for people that just more casual, they don't care.
I think cinemas need to kind of cinemas need to adapt and make their experiences a bit better. Have you not noticed when I've gone to cinemas now, a lot of the stuff just looks run down.
Bro, because let's be honest now, we go to the cheap ones, bro.
But the cheap ones that I went to back in the day, they weren't this bad.
Do you know how expensive tickets were back in the day?
Yes, it's true. £30 for two, £35 for
yeah. That was now really expensive.
Now it's like £6.
£5. Yeah. And so even on weekends, it can be up to £5 in some places.
Yeah.
So you're talking about, let's say you don't eat anything or drink, or you bring your own stuff.
That's why you have the deluxe.
Not more than £15 for 2 people.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you can bring the deluxe stuff, so you can have the better chairs and you can have the better experience and stuff. 3D as well.
I just sit in those places anyway.
Yeah.
Even if
they're usually they're not really packed. Depending on where you go, they're not really packed. Very packed anyway. like our rundown cinema. That's the best one because it's the cheapest.
I've never been there and it's been packed. I've
never
been there.
I don't know how they're making their money. Honestly, I don't know. I feel it feels like
it feels laundering.
Yeah, like in Breaking Bad. This was like a money laundering scheme because it's never packed. It's in the middle of nowhere.
It's been like that since I was in secondary school. Actually, no, secondary school. When I went there in secondary school, it was better because I don't know what happened. It seems like somewhere between 2023 and 2023. Sorry, somewhere between 03 and 06, people just something happened and no one goes there anymore. But 03, a lot of people went there, especially a lot of school children went there. We go like make weekends of it and go there and it'll be packed. But
don't know what's changed, but I can't lie. When Secret Wars comes out, we have to watch it on IMAX, man. Please, let's save up
2027.
Yeah. By that time, hopefully we're good, isn't it?
we'll have like 2-3 kids.
Yeah, 2-3 kids will come in. We could take them as well, make a little day of it.
Just spoil my experience, bro.
I'll be beside.
Yeah, these kids can't come and watch this. They're staying home with mum. It's alright.
You sure Mother's gonna come as well?
Nah, she's fine. She'll survive.